House is doing, but it does have to be part of the responsibility going forward.
And in terms of fleshing out that factual record about what actually happened, including what happened with the Russian attack in 2016,
right.
I wondered, as you read the Mueller report, the parts of it at least that we can read, did you learn new things about what happened to you and your campaign in 2016 that you didn't know before reading it?
I learned more, and I learned more detail.
Okay.
But here's the important thing to me. What I learned is that the Russians were successful. I don't think there's any way to read that report and not conclude they accomplished what they set out to do. They had an objective to sow discord and divisiveness within our society at large and to help Donald Trump, and they succeeded. So let's move our vision forward and say to yourself, if you're in the Kremlin, you're Vladimir Putin, who I've sat across, I understand his goal is to weaken America. I know that. He doesn't like me because I stood up for America. I get it. So if you're sitting there and you're saying, this worked really well, Trump just foments divisiveness in America. He's helping to tear the country apart. People are so upset. What are we going to do to help him this time? How do we best accomplish that? And because we have no real follow-up, and one of the things that concerned me in the Mueller report is when it's written that they didn't investigate whether or not the Russian active measures actually changed votes or affected the outcome, because they assumed someone else was doing that. They assumed the FBI was doing that. And then we learned that the former Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security is ordered not to talk about election interference in front of Trump. And then we learn that there is no concerted effort going on anywhere in our government to try to understand what it means that, for example, at least one county in Florida was breached. But not only that, the network of election machinery in one area. What does all that mean? And if you're sitting in a Secretary of State's office in some state or in a county election commission, what are you supposed to do? And I'll tell you, Rachel, I've met with most of the candidates who are running this time and answer their questions. And I always tell them, you know, you can run the best campaign. You can be the person who gets the nomination. But unless we know how to protect our election from what happened before and what could happen again, because there's greater sophistication about it, you could lose. And I don't mean it to scare anybody, but I do want every candidate to understand that this remains a threat.
That they could lose at the hands of a foreign power, not that they could lose fair and square.
That's right. That it wasn't on the level. It wasn't on the level in 2016. It could be, once again, not on the level, because we have never really understood as much as we need to. And I think the Mueller report didn't go there. That wasn't what they thought their charge was. And since there's no, you know, like 9/11 commission to figure out what it is that happened, so how we prevent it should be the priority of everyone, I worry a lot that there's a greater sophistication. They've learned some things that they now are going to deploy against us. And us means the country, not just Democrats.
The cyber world